2 nice bids, get it bid. I do not believe, as Councillor Scott said, that we could sit down and get it all out before this session. We are in politics. We're a year and a half into a process that never gets clean. And until we all learn the fact that it's not a clean process, and we act like adults and not worry about all these teenage behaviors that we're doing and worrying about what people are doing, this is a business we're in. And if I made you feel bad, I really don't care sometimes. The fact is, no, I don't. I do, deep down, yes, I do, Ruth, because I love you dearly. But the reality of the situation, it was you.
I didn't see it.
I'm not giving him anything out. The reality is this is a business. And George Cuff knows this business, and Nigel knows this business. Let's put the terms of reference together and ask them to bid on it. Let's have the session. They'll talk the truth to us because we asked them to. I'm not here to make friends. I didn't get elected to make friends. I got elected to do business, and I don't give a damn about all this teenage behavior anymore. Let's just get it done with.
Here.
Here.
All right.
Hey, John.
So the motion is that we get 2 quotes.
So that's all about.
All in favor? Carried.
Just a point of clarification on the Cuff quote. When you put these out, I guess to the clerk through you, Mr. Mayor, when you put these out, do you give parameters as to what type of training session or building session you're interested in?
Councillor Russell just mentioned having a terms of reference, so perhaps we should have a report on the terms of reference back. You know what we want in our terms of reference?
I certainly heard.
Good, okay, good. Perfect.
Okay. Number 6. This is the public-private partnerships and the correspondence that we raised in camera at the last meeting from our solicitor.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask that we table that if council's agreeable to, that's a huge discussion. I think we all need to come prepared for that one in terms of how do we feel about public-private partnerships, what do we want to see of them, what are we prepared to? I mean, we have 40 minutes if you want to give it a crack, 45 minutes, but I think that's almost a full Tuesday session in and of itself.
The whole
That's a loss.
strategic planning issue, it's everything you're dealing with, it's been referred here and there and back.
I'd love to set a date for that, a specific date for that, and we can make a roll.
This is dealing with the contracts that we have with the YMCA, and that contract is, did we not have a motion regarding when that comes due, that we have due time in front of that to get requests for proposals and look at it at that time?
Yeah, but that is different than having a generic discussion on public-private partnerships. I don't really want to rip the Y contract apart. That's not what I want. I'd like to have a discussion saying if we are going to enter into public-private partnerships, which is what that is and OMI is, then what are the parameters? What are we looking at? Do we supply capital equipment? Do we put it out for tender? What things are we looking for? Are we paying for services, not just facilitating? That's the discussion I want to have. And the Y contract may be the example, but it's not the reason I'd like to have a discussion. Because I think if you read anything in municipal world or cabinet talks from Ottawa right now, it's all about partnerships down the road. And so I think partnerships are great, but they've got to be fair and consistent right across the municipality.
I agree with Councillor Bonesteel that this is a massive thing, and I'm more interested in actually seeing what our policy is to this point and how we are dealing with it. And I hate to ask for reports, but I'm going to make a motion that we ask for a report from staff. How do we deal with this issue? Like, do we have to raise it from the table so we can get a report? Like, what's the report? Can we ask for a report even if it's tabled, or do we have to have it lifted from the table?
It hasn't been tabled.
It hasn't been, this hasn't been tabled? Okay. I'd like to have a report, what we are doing within our parameters, what our process is for our tendering, and what our policy is towards private partnership. So we can have a look at it, think about it, and really think where we are on the map for ideologically speaking.
Yep.
Where we are now.
Okay.
Seconder for that?
I'll second.
Dr. Bonesteel?
separate from the Y. But there is a notice of motion here later, and it does deal specifically with where we left the reports on the Y and what we did say, because we didn't make any definitive statement that we were going to leave it and go for an RFP. So that's why those notices are there later. And that's, we can discuss on Monday, because that was the intent. So I agree totally that we need to have some examination of public-private partnerships.
Scott?
I agree with the motion that's been put forward. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't be having regular Tuesday meetings until we get a little bit more caught up on some of these issues that apparently we've left hanging and we seem to run out of time to discuss. And I'm wondering with that type of meeting and things, if we just shouldn't say every Tuesday until we're caught up is done, because we always start talking about not having enough time. We don't get this done, we don't get that done. We haven't had a strap meeting, we've done this, we've changed it to that. I think the problem is we need to have some more meetings so that we can get them handled.
Well, along that line, what I'd love to see is dedicated meetings. Like, I would like to see a date set for the public-private discussion, and then we can deal with the why after we have the public-private discussion. We have an issue in the north end now between the optimists and the why, which is a real slippery slope until we have that public-private discussion. Because we're now talking about subsidizing a service club, and that's huge. So I'd like to set a date for this. I don't know staff time in terms of saying,
Well, this is it.
get the 1,500 milligram tons in. I don't know what our current protocols are, but if, you know, 2 Tuesdays from now, 3 Tuesdays from now, whatever works. But this is a biggie discussion. This is a whole Tuesday discussion. But I agree with you, we need those parameters before.
Motion is that we have a report back on what our policy is now regarding.
Public-private partnerships. Let's put it down. I'll see.
Russell, you had
Yeah, private-public partnerships, we seem to have got lost on this road of the Y. And it's just, I think we got lost on it. It's part of the discussion, but we have many 3Ps. We have them. I mean, they exist. I mean, we have one we own. Blue Water we own. We have the county, which is the biggest one of all. You know, we have this is part of our business. This is how we do business. And I think it really does start to become a philosophical thing. I think, just to use Councillor Illman's words back at her once, but she said it's always been quite successful since amalgamation to talk about the successful partnerships that we made. And I think it's true. And I think that's what the report should say. What are the potential for? What are the successes? What are the side streets that we go down once in a while and we lose ourselves? What are the potential things out there which I think there are opportunities that maybe we haven't addressed? The key to it is that if we read anything about any municipal, provincial, state, or federal thing today, what you're going to see is PPPs are exactly the way to go. We are lessening in terms of our resources, and we don't want to tax anymore. We don't want to build things, so we have to partner. So I think we really have to set a time aside just for that specific.
Yes.
I'm open to a friendly amendment.
friendly amendment to the motion.
Put
Having
it
the
on.
information.
What time? What works for staff?
Well, what's the stuff? This is best.
Are Tuesdays the best or Fridays?
Well, let's see what Tuesdays.
Where's the emergent issue?
Well, I think the RFP is coming up within 6 months, is that correct? From what date? What are we looking for, fall? Before we
What
start
RFP?
talking about, renewal on the Y contract?
No, 2014.
2014. Oh. Yeah.
So this isn't an emergent issue that we need to deal with.
No.
We need a set date.
But we need a set date to talk about it, to get everything.
So we're not talking, it could be in a month or two, but we do need the Tuesday thing. I think you were talking, my motion's still on the